The nurse didn't scream. She didn't run. She just stared at the feeding tube and slowly stepped back. Then she looked at me and said the words no parent should ever hear. This wasn't an accident. My disabled daughter lay motionless in the hospital bed. Machines breathed for her. Monitors counted the seconds of her life. And somewhere in our quiet HOA neighborhood, a woman believed she could interfere with medical care and walk away. What she didn't know was that I've spent over 20 years as a senior doctor. I recognize medical sabotage the same way other people recognize fire. And once I understood what had been done to my child, there was no stopping what came next. My daughter Lily has never lived an ordinary life. A complicated birth injury damaged the muscles she needs to swallow. Eating the way most people do is impossible for her. From the time she was an infant, a feeding tube kept her alive. That tube wasn't equipment. It wasn't an inconvenience. It was her lifeline. Lily couldn't speak full sentences, but she communicated in her own way. A blink for yes. A slow squeeze of my finger for comfort. Soft sounds when she was content. She understood more than people realized. As a doctor, I'd seen suffering in every form. As a father, watching my own child endure it was something else entirely. That's why I chose Oak Haven Estates. A quiet HOA neighborhood. Low noise. Strict routines. I thought structure would protect her. I was wrong. I could have lived anywhere. But Lily needed predictability. Wide sidewalks for her wheelchair. Minimal traffic. A calm environment for caregivers. Oak Haven advertised itself as peaceful, orderly, and family-oriented. The HOA rules were strict, yes, but I assumed they were about lawns and paint colors. Not about controlling human beings. The day we moved in, Lily sat near the window listening to birds. Her face relaxed. That alone made the move worth it. I didn't know that someone else was already watching us. Karen Whitmore introduced herself within an hour of our arrival. Perfect posture. Clipboard tucked under her arm. Smile sharp enough to cut glass. "I'm the HOA president," she said. "We like to keep things uniform here." Her eyes drifted past me and settled on Lily's wheelchair. Then on the feeding pump. Her smile faltered. "What's wrong with her?" Karen asked. I answered calmly. "She's disabled." Karen exhaled through her nose. "That's unfortunate. Medical equipment tends to draw attention." I stared at her. "My daughter is not a distraction." Karen recovered quickly. "Well, just make sure everything stays discreet." That was the moment my instincts warned me. I didn't listen hard enough. The complaints began almost immediately. Emails about machine noises. Notes about caregivers parking too long. Warnings about unsightly medical tubing visible from the street. Karen once said directly, "Children like her belong in facilities designed for them." I replied, very slowly, "My daughter belongs with her family." Karen smiled thinly. "We'll see. I've handled hostile families. Aggressive patients. Administrators with egos larger than their ethics. Karen didn't scare me. I believed rules and boundaries would contain her. I installed security cameras. Limited contact. Documented every interaction. What I didn't expect was obsession. Karen memorized Lily's schedule. Watched caregiver changes. Noted when I left for work. She asked neighbors questions. "How long is that child alone? Does that machine really need to run all day?" She wasn't curious. She was calculating. Hospitals don't care about timing. A complicated surgery required my presence immediately. I arranged everything carefully. A licensed caregiver. Emergency numbers posted. Instructions reviewed twice. I kissed Lily's forehead before leaving. "I'll be back soon," I promised. She squeezed my finger once. Trusting. That image still breaks me. Karen showed up unannounced. She claimed there was an HOA inspection. The caregiver later told me Karen complained about the feeding pump. About cords. About smells. About aesthetics. At some point, Karen insisted on checking the equipment. The caregiver stepped away briefly to answer a call. That was all the time Karen needed. When I returned, something felt wrong immediately. The house smelled different. Lily's skin looked pale. Her breathing wasn't right. The feeding pump alarm sounded, not an error I recognized. My medical instincts kicked in instantly. This wasn't malfunction. This was interference. I shut the system down and called emergency services. We were in the ambulance within minutes. Hospitals are loud except when they're not. In the ICU, every sound feels amplified. Monitors beeped steadily. Machines hissed softly. Lily lay unconscious. I reviewed her vitals. Something didn't add up. I asked for lab work immediately. The nurse hesitated. Then she said it. This wasn't an accident. The tests confirmed contamination. Not environmental. Not accidental. Not equipment failure. Intentional tampering. My hands shook, not with fear, but with rage. Someone had interfered with a disabled child's medical lifeline. Someone thought they knew better than medicine. I knew exactly who. Police were notified. Hospital administration alerted. As a senior doctor, I understood procedures. As a father, I wanted blood. I controlled myself. Because justice required precision. Karen was brought in for questioning. She smiled. I was fixing a nuisance, she said. That word, nuisance. I entered the room. Introduced myself fully. My credentials. My experience. My role on multiple medical ethics boards. I explained exactly what she'd done. In language she couldn't escape. Her smile vanished. Karen confessed partially. She believed the tube was overkill. She thought Lily was suffering unnecessarily. She believed she had the right to intervene. What she really wanted was control. The law saw something else entirely. Charges were filed. Attempted homicide, tampering with medical equipment, abuse of a disabled minor, hate-motivated conduct. The HOA board dissolved within weeks. Neighbors came forward with stories. Karen had threatened many of them. No one had stopped her. Until now. Lily remained in the ICU for days. I didn't leave her side. I spoke softly to her. Held her hand. Apologized for trusting the wrong people. One night, she squeezed my finger. Weakly. But intentionally. She was still there. Recovery was slow. But Lily survived. That matters more than anything. We moved. Far away. Some places don't deserve second chances. People think danger looks obvious. It doesn't. Sometimes it wears authority. Sometimes it hides behind rules. And sometimes it thinks it knows better than medicine. My daughter is alive because instinct acted faster than cruelty. But not every child is that lucky. If someone ever tells you your child is an inconvenience, believe them when they show you who they are. And remember, power does not equal permission. Control does not equal care. And anyone who plays God with a child's life will face consequences.